Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I want to go over the geographical information that Las Vegas FanFest 2023 gave us about Dawntrail, the next expansion coming out next year in the summer. What to expect then, and the likelihood of other zones within the new world. In the game we have the unique opportunity to visit the moon of Atheris thanks to Endwalker, and more often in the game I sit here and I look up at the planet we came from and I try to imagine what all of the other places we've visited or haven't visited might look like. Originally, I thought Mericidia would have been the next expansion. It certainly felt like it had been lent into, but I misread the clues and I was thrown a huge curveball when I saw the trailer. But it was a positive experience. The MSQ provided us with a glimpse of the letter with that mysterious seal, which on closer inspection I think is much closer to the new world than Mericidia. I think it was just me trying to want it to be that. A letter then that you can still go back and look at if you missed it, if you want it in closer detail, if you're caught up with the main storyline inside the Baldessian Annex, which is the sort of like zone hub inside Old Charlian, so definitely go check that out. If we are then to look at Atheris from the lunar surface here, we can truly get a glimpse of how big the new world actually is. And on the new world map that they showed in the keynote, this is the part of the new world we'll be heading to, which is actually the southwestern section of this, like the southern section of the new world, leaving that northwestern section still blanketed in fog. This demonstrates actually how big the new world actually is, and Tural is absolutely massive. That's the name of this continent. So let's analyze this a bit then. On this new world map, we can clearly see three markers that they've shown so far: Tural, Tural, and Tulyalal. Tulyalal is the city and presumably where the storyline will start. It has the harbour, and it's even seen in the teaser trailer for the game as we or Meteor arrive on a boat that direction. Definitely where I think the expansion will start. Directly above that, you can see these sort of like strange cracks in the water on the map. At first I thought, this just looks like insignificant artifacts of the map itself. But then I think to myself, there might have been some form of truth in them and significance. If you look at the scene here with what appears to be these weird spikes in the sea, these are perhaps preventing visits to the northern part of the new world. Maybe there's some weird reason they exist and we'll learn more about them in the future. But maybe this is why this is like that. So it's reserved for a future expansion, or maybe, in my small hopes and dreams, the location of uncharted lands, and maybe 7.x's answer to field instances like Eureka, which I know many of you are probably sighing right now. I know there's a lot of people who don't like Eureka. I liked it. I wouldn't mind. Who knows though, it could be just another expansion. It is a huge section of land to miss out. Back onto what we actually know then. The great city of Tulyal is on the northern edge of this big continent that stretches downwards. So we're going top to bottom, north to south in this expansion, which makes perfect sense if you think of the name of the expansion itself. Tulyal is said to be the seat of the federal nation-state governing Tural, with its nation's leader being a two-headed Mamulja called Galul Jaja, which we even see dueling, or maybe full-on fighting, I'm not sure the intention here, with Meteor during the teaser trailer. Presumably also showing that new job, which may as well be called Pirate for all I care. I think it probably is. I bet you any money he's wielding a pistol on his belt or something, but who knows? We'll find out in London. It's hinted at then that we and the Scions together and separately, with a divide in them this time for some reason, will help determine the rule of succession in some fashion for the people of Tural, which I'm sure will make more sense as we progress the storyline. But for now, for me, it makes us wonder, sort of, why us? Why are we? Why would we, an outsider, be related to this? But there we go. Maybe there is a much closer meaning. Or maybe there are factions or something, who knows. The city itself then is comprised of multiple districts, and we got to see some of these in-game screenshots of these areas. A beautiful bazaar and market district seems to have taken up much of the teaser trailer, with its striking banners overhead and even more striking red roofs that you can definitely tell where this is in any picture they show. A beach scene was also shown, to which Naoki Yoshida for some reason pointed out, sadly, that no swimming will be possible in this water, which is very interesting. Maybe there's something wrong with the water? I don't know. It doesn't seem right that we wouldn't be able to swim in that with the swimming tech that we have, but maybe it's just a technical limitation and nothing else should be drawn into conclusion on that. But I do like to speculate, as you know. Great river deltas and forests make up much of the area impassable to the south of the city. It's not easy to walk around, it said, which is why they also mention in this slide during the keynote the use of dirigibles, which the Mamul presumably incorporated to make life a bit easier. Using said dirigibles is seemingly one of the ways they intend you to pass the first of two zones we learn of. To the direct south of the city of Tural is the mountains of Urkopacha. This is a beautiful piece of concept art here that shows the true scale of these mountains, to which they say over 1,000 years ago, long before the city of Tural existed, Urkopacha was the proud heart of the Giants' empire, which spanned the entirety of Yaktel. While the descendants, they say, live on in the region, only ruins remain of the empire's glory days. So inhabitants of the mountains are actually giants, which could easily be the second tribal quest related group, considering the first tribal quest that they actually confirmed in the keynote is the Pelu Pelu, designed after Final Fantasy X originally then. These are people with masks with strange sort of beak-like visors covering their noses and goggles. These are people who inhabit the mountains, presumably alongside these giants or against them, I'm not really sure, which we haven't got any art to show the giants yet, which is a bit sad, but maybe FanFest EU will get to see the giants. I would really hope. The Pelu Pelu are described as natural entrepreneurs who travel the continent on the back of alpaca. Again, I'm kind of hoping that the next tribal mount then is an alpaca. That would be kind of great, and we don't have one, so give us alpacas, please, Yoshi P. Thanks. They trade in tea, coffee, and mezcal and live in villages like this one. They show this beautiful image inside the region of Urkopacha. The mountains behind here in this scene remind you of just how high up you must be to see the summit like that so clearly, especially from the previous concept art with those huge monoliths. So this is very high altitude, so cold fronts will be plentiful. Straw and fleeces, for obvious reasons, adorn many of the houses here, full of vegetation, with that new foliage density feature of 7.0 graphics update dialed to 11 here. It looks absolutely fantastic. I especially love the design of the new aetheryte from Urkopacha 2. It's very unique, and they always do aetherytes in the style of the tribes or peoples of that area. And I think this is very, very noticeably unique. Then, using the dirigibles likely over these mountains southwards once again, we found ourselves in kind of like a plateau between mountains, as we see on the world map. We find ourselves in much flatter areas known as Yaktel. This is full of vast rainforests, unforgiving humidity, and beautiful, lush plant life. And nature is kind of what you'd expect to see in this area. If there's going to be strange creatures and weird flora and fauna, it's going to be here. The slides actually mention how dense the foliage is, and it actually prevents much of the forest floor from ever seeing sunlight. So that's going to certainly make for some strange looking scenes, and I can't wait to see the new lighting and texture work in place for those zones with the 7.0 graphical changes. The most incredible point about this area is that they mention how the area is actually home to settlements rich with Tural's local Rothgar population as well as the Mamul Jar. They say replete with cenotes and cerulean ponds and springs, so underwater sources, caves, springs, waterfalls, much like that sort of stuff, as was shown during part of the teaser trailer. That area, by the way, if you didn't notice, is Yaktel. I wonder if this is how we get to be introduced to the female Rothgar then. The two shots in the game show of Yaktel showing vastly different viewpoints. Naoki Yoshida pointed out that the zone will actually be split into two, a lower level area and a higher level area. This is, kind of similar to some of the places we saw in Endwalker then. The dense forest is incredible, and I can't wait to see what the rest of it looks like on foot in the actual game. It's going to look completely different. The second screenshot they show is the overhead camera, sort of showing one of these settlements, just how humid and misty it can get, forests and overlapping canopies into the distance. Frankly, it looks stunning. It feels like Out of Civilization, you slowly build up with that different amount of foliage until you get to those stunning deep forests. It's going to be crazy to explore. I can't wait to see all of the hidden stuff within there. With all of the main information then sort of mentioned at this point, that's just two of three if you count the city, of the possible 6 or 7 zones in completion if you count that city. So what would you like to see in this area? It's likely one of these zones is separately, incorporated as a separate map completely, much like Azizlar or, any of the extra zones that they add on top of it. But then we still end up with like 2 or 3 of the zones being within this continent, presumably. So personally, I would love to see the southern coastline, which would theoretically give a great view of the ocean below, and the land masses to the south oceans, which I think would look great. Also, I would like to see an underground map, because they mentioned those underground springs and sea notes and things like that and waterfalls. It would be great if there was like, maybe the City of Gold that they mention is hidden underneath a waterfall, underneath the forest, kind of very similar to sort of Indiana Jones style adventures. I'm sure that this will be full of references, and I cannot wait to play it, quite honestly. And you could probably have the giants even live there, right? Deep underground near the crags of Earth. That would make sense that they would retreat down there, but I know nothing. This is speculation. Either way, Dawntrail is already looking beautiful, but it's about to be the only thing I end up thinking about for the next couple of months until I see more at the London FanFest, which I'm lucky enough to be able to go to in person, so I'll have lots of pictures and things from that firsthand. Let me know your thoughts as well. Do you like what you've seen so far? Is there anything missing from Dawntrail? What are your expectations for this new world, if you have any? Much love, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.